You knew you had to do it. You've known for days, maybe weeks. You told yourself today would be different. You sat down, opened everything up, and then spent the next 2 hours doing absolutely nothing that mattered. And the worst part isn't the wasted time. It's that you did it again, even after promising yourself you wouldn't. That's not laziness. That's your brain, working exactly the way it was designed to. Just not for you. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It isn't weakness. It isn't something you can fix by just trying harder or waking up earlier or downloading another productivity app. It's a brain problem. A deeply wired, scientifically measurable conflict happening inside your head every single time you sit down to do something that matters. These are every reason you procrastinate, and exactly what your brain is doing when it happens. Reason 1. The instant gratification trap. Your brain has two systems running at the same time. One thinks about the future, goals, deadlines, consequences, the person you want to become. The other only cares about right now, comfort, pleasure, relief, the path of least resistance. These two systems are supposed to work together, but they don't always agree. When you sit down to work on something hard, the future thinking part says, do it. The now feeling part says, but what if we just checked our phone for a second? The now feeling part almost always wins, not because you're weak, because it's older, faster, more powerful. It evolved millions of years before the part of your brain that understands deadlines even existed. You are not fighting laziness. You are fighting evolution. Reason 2. Task aversion. Procrastination isn't about the task itself. It's about how the task makes you feel. Research from the University of Toronto found that procrastinators don't avoid tasks because they're difficult. They avoid them because those tasks trigger negative emotions: anxiety, self-doubt, boredom, frustration, fear of failure. Your brain learns very quickly that avoiding the task makes those feelings go away, temporarily. So every time a task appears that carries those feelings, your brain doesn't say, "This is hard." It says, "This hurts," and it routes you away from it before you even consciously decide to procrastinate. You didn't choose to scroll instead of work. Your brain chose comfort over pain, and it made that choice faster than you could think. Reason 3. Fear of failure. Sometimes procrastination isn't avoiding work, it's avoiding judgment. If you never start, you can never fail. If you never finish, nobody can tell you it wasn't good enough. If you keep it in your head as a perfect idea, it stays perfect forever. Starting means risking, and your brain treats risk like danger. This is especially common in people who were praised for being smart growing up, because smart means it should come easily. And if it doesn't come easily, maybe you're not actually smart. Maybe you've been fooling everyone. Maybe this task will finally prove it. So you wait, and wait, and wait. Not because you don't care, because you care too much, and starting feels like stepping in front of a firing squad. Reason 4. The planning fallacy. You think it will take 30 minutes. It takes 3 hours, so you wait until you have 30 minutes, and then you're out of time. Your brain is catastrophically bad at estimating how long things take. Studies show people underestimate task duration by an average of 40%, even when they've done the exact same task before and it took longer. This isn't stupidity, it's optimism bias. Your brain imagines the best case version of events. No interruptions, no mistakes, no unexpected problems, and plans around that fantasy. So you put off starting because it feels manageable later. Later arrives, the task is bigger than expected. Now you're panicking, rushing, or avoiding it entirely. The gap between imagined effort and real effort is where procrastination lives. Reason 5. Decision fatigue. Your brain has a limited supply of decision-making energy every day. Every choice you make, what to eat, what to wear, what to reply, what to click, drains that supply. By the time you sit down to do important work, Especially later in the day, your brain is running low. And when it's low, it defaults to the easiest possible option. The easiest option is never the hard task sitting in front of you. This is why successful people make fewer decisions. Same breakfast, same routine, same outfit. Not because they're boring, because they're protecting their decision-making energy for the things that actually matter. Every small decision you make before your important work is stealing from the focus you needed to actually do it.
Reason 6. Unclear goals. Your brain cannot work towards something it cannot see. When a task is vague, write the report, work on my business, get fit, your brain has nowhere to direct its energy. It knows something needs to happen, but doesn't know where to start. So it stalls. It circles. It opens 10 tabs and closes 9 of them. This isn't procrastination. It's confusion wearing procrastination's clothes. The moment a task becomes specific, write the first paragraph, send 3 emails, do 10 minutes of research. The brain has a target, and brains are extraordinarily good at moving toward clear targets. Vague goals don't get done. They get avoided. Not because you're unmotivated, because your brain genuinely doesn't know what done looks like.
Reason 7. Dopamine hijacking. Your phone is not designed to entertain you. It is designed to make everything else feel boring by comparison. Every notification, every scroll, every like, every video recommendation is engineered by teams of neuroscientists to release small hits of dopamine, the chemical your brain uses to measure reward and decide what's worth doing again. After an hour of scrolling, your dopamine baseline rises. Normal tasks, reading, writing, thinking, release almost no dopamine by comparison, so your brain labels them as not worth doing. You haven't become lazy. Your reward system has been recalibrated by products that profit from your attention. Trying to work after heavy phone use is like trying to enjoy a home-cooked meal right after eating at the finest restaurant in the world. The meal is fine. Your brain just can't taste it anymore.
Reason 8. Emotional dysregulation. For some people, procrastination isn't a productivity problem at all. It's an emotional one. When emotions become overwhelming, stress, anxiety, sadness, anger, the brain's capacity for planning and focus shuts down. The prefrontal cortex, which handles self-control and task initiation, goes offline when the emotional brain takes over. You're not choosing to avoid the work. Your nervous system is in a state where doing the work is neurologically impossible without first regulating the emotion underneath it. This is why telling someone who is overwhelmed to just focus never works. You cannot think your way through a feeling. You have to feel your way through it first. The procrastination is a symptom. The emotion underneath it is the actual problem.
Reason 9. Perfectionism. Perfectionism looks like high standards. It feels like motivation. It presents itself as caring deeply about quality. It is none of those things. Perfectionism is fear with better branding. It tells you the work isn't ready to start because you don't have the right conditions, the right tools, the right moment, the right level of inspiration. It keeps you in permanent preparation mode, researching, planning, organizing, rearranging, doing everything except the actual thing. Because the actual thing might be imperfect, and imperfect means failure, and failure means something is deeply wrong with you. Done is not the enemy of perfect. Perfectionism is the enemy of done, and done is the only thing that actually exists in the real world.
Reason 10. The fresh start illusion. Monday, the first of the month, after the holidays, after this one thing is over, then I'll start. Your brain loves the idea of a clean slate, a defined starting point that feels like a new version of you, one who doesn't procrastinate, who has everything together, who finally does the thing. But Monday arrives, and you're still the same person, with the same habits and the same resistance. The fresh start illusion is comfortable because it lets you feel the motivation of starting without the discomfort of actually doing it.
You get the feeling of progress without moving an inch. There is no perfect moment. There is only this moment, imperfect, inconvenient, and the only one that will ever actually exist.
Here is what nobody tells you about procrastination. You will never feel ready. The resistance you feel before doing something hard is not a sign that you shouldn't do it. It is proof that it matters. Your brain will always choose comfort. That is its job. Your job is to act anyway. Not by overpowering the feeling, but by understanding it well enough that it stops controlling you. Every reason on this list is real. Every one of them is happening in your brain right now. And every single one of them can be worked with. Once you stop calling it laziness and start calling it what it actually is. A brain doing exactly what brains do. The question is, what are you going to do next?